I want to talk about a misconception that so many people have about Christianity. See, what I hear a lot of times is people always talking about how, like, there's pastors that steal, there's pastors that don't treat people right, there's people in the church that are rude, there's people in the church that don't treat me right. Like, a lot of people have church hurt because they've been done wrong from someone in the church who claimed to be Christians. But let me just say this. Anybody can say that they're a Christian. It doesn't matter about what confesses from your mouth. A true Christian, you would know them by their fruit. You would know them by their character, by their heart, by how they show up. Just because a person starts a church and says they're a pastor doesn't necessarily mean they were ordained by God for that calling, and it doesn't mean that they are supposed to be in that position, right? And the reason why I say that is because I can be a pastor and I can go start a church right now, but I don't feel like pastoral work is my calling. I feel like it's something else. However, no, I feel like I know it's something else, but I'm just saying anybody can start anything, just like anybody can start a podcast and people listen. That's exactly how it is. So a lot of people who end up walking away from church, you also, not only do you a lot of times walk away from church, but you walk away from God. Now, walking away from the church that you were in is perfectly fine, because all churches aren't good churches. Unfortunately, that's just the truth. Just like all people aren't good people. There are people who are harmful. There are people who will betray you. There are murderers. All people aren't good people. However, that same thing is for churches. So you have to be able to have a level of discernment to even learn to know, is this person a good person? Is this church a good church? Is this pastor who claims to be a pastor and operating out of God, for God, is he really someone who God called to the position? And guess how you know that? Guess how you learn that? By reading the Bible. Read the Bible. When you don't read the word for yourself, you believe that all people who claim to be Christians are Christians. Let me just say another thing. When people don't read the Bible and you don't learn God for yourself, you may be a Christian, but you're not in a relationship with God. To be in relationship with God is to know his word. How can you be in a relationship with anybody? Let's just say I'm in a relationship with you. How can me and you be in a relationship if we don't talk? If you don't learn me? How do you learn character? By reading, by talking, by communicating, right? So a lot of you guys are walking away from the church, walking away from God, walking away from real Christian people, and saying, I want to practice another faith, because you don't understand what true Christianity is. You can say I'm a Christian all day, but if you're not living the life of a Christian, the problem is a lot of you have not experienced what it is to be a true Christian. You've not experienced a person who has a genuine heart. You haven't experienced someone who really loves you with love and kindness. You haven't experienced someone who has the fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, kindness, gentleness, self-control, what God called us to be. So when you walk out of a church and you walk away from people because you have a pastor who's not doing right, a pastor who's sleeping with his congregation, pastors who molesting people, when you walk away from people, from churches, a lot of times you walk away from God. God didn't call us to be in a relationship with people who aren't doing his work and his will. You don't have to be in a church, but you do have to be in a relationship with God. So if this really sat with you today and you was really like, you know what, I did walk away from church, I walked away from people, I walked away from religion because the people weren't right, they were so judgmental, I just want to say, those are people. We are humans. God is not human. Be in relationship with God for yourself, outside of people. A lot of you guys are talking about, I'm spiritual. Demons are spiritual too. Did you know that? So what spirit do you follow? Christianity spirit, or do you follow a different spirit? I'm just saying, we got to have disrupted conversations. We got to have conversations that's outside of the shallow things that you guys want to keep talking about, because there is a heaven and there is a hell. And whether you want to believe it or not, I hope that when you listen to me, that something sits in your heart enough for you to be like, I don't want to go to that dark place. I don't want to be there for eternity. I'd rather go in heaven and then pearly gates. So I'm going to start getting my life right, clearing my heart out, reading the Bible for myself, having a relationship for myself. You may have to walk away from people because they are not living true Christian lives. But don't walk away from God because of what people done to you. Because God didn't make nobody do nothing. He gave us free will. I just want you to know that. All right. I love you, and there is nothing you could do about it. Bye.